ABC7 studios. Good morning, America. It is now 7 o'clock in the morning in Chicago. We have some breaking news. The North and the South are having many issues. They are attempting to make a compromise between the two nations. The compromise attempted to solve growing North-South tensions over the extension of slavery, specifically into newly annexed Texas, and the territory gained by the United States in the Mexican War. Henry Clay was one of the creators of the Compromise of 1850. This compromise consisted of Maine in becoming a free state and the use of popular sovereignty to decide free or slave states. For New Mexico and Utah, the prohibition of slave trade in the District of Columbia, and the passage of a stricter fugitive slave law. Both the northern and southern cultures viewed its rival as a significant, if not mortal, threat to life. As a part of sectional compromise that ensured the ratification of the Constitution, Article 4, Section 2 of the document directed that, quote, no person held to service or labor in one state, under the laws thereof, escaping into another, shall in consequence of any laws or regulation therein be discharged from such service of labor, but shall be delivered up on claim of the party to whom such service or labor may be due. Congress subsequently enacted the Fugitive Slave Act of 1793 to specify procedures to aid the recovery of runaway slaves. The outcomes of the Fugitive Slave Act led many Americans to reject any future efforts at political compromise over differences between the North and South. Hopefully these two nations will reunite to become one. Now let's hear from our newscaster, Jennie Hayes, with the story of Bleeding Kansas.
Thanks, Julia. Today we will be sharing with you some insight about the Kansas-Nebraska Act that is currently causing sectional tension in our nation. Stephen A. Douglas proposed the act to set up territory west of Missouri and Iowa. This area was banned by the Missouri Compromise in 1850. Douglas disregarded the compromise and went ahead to set up the territorial government. Sources said that Douglas was looking to set up economic development in the frontier by railroad. Douglas hoped this act would revive the spirit of Manifest Destiny, yet repealing of the compromises raised problems in the North and South because it permitted the possibility of slavery in an area where it had previously been prohibited. This act not only made future compromises less likely, but it currently is splitting up the Democratic Party. Thank you. This is Jennie from ABC7 News.
Here's a word from our sponsors, Muscle Milk, be strong.
Where's your lunch money?
I don't have any lunch money. Please. God, I think he's gonna get me. Oh. What? Muscle milk? I could really use some of this.
It really does work. Take this lunch money.
Muscle milk!
Here we are, live in the studios with your hosts, Sedrick and Graeme.
Hello and welcome to the 7 o'clock news. We're going to kick things off while talking about our book, Uncle Tom's Cabin. Unfortunately, Harriet Elizabeth Stowe won't be here with us today.
Thanks, girl.
We have interviews with both Declan and Julia about the two sharing sides about the publication of this new book.
And here's the video of Sedrick interviewing Declan and Julia.
Hi, what's your name?
My name's Declan and I'm from New York.
Oh, Declan, how do you feel about the new book, Uncle Tom's Cabin?
We from the North feel that this book shows the cruelty of slavery, and we were horrified while we read it.
So you're for the abolishment of slavery?
Yes, indeed.
Thank you, Declan, for those wise words of wisdom. Now we'll hear from someone from the South.
Hi, I'm Julia, and I'm from Jackson, Mississippi.
Hi, how do you feel about Uncle Tom's Cabin?
I feel like this book is cruel, and it gives Americans from the North a wrong idea of slavery.
You mean to tell me that the response that this book got does not make you second guess of what you're doing?
Well, my heart did drop a little, but the book portrayed slavery than it actually was. I'm still for slavery.
Well, that's it for me. I've explained the sectional divide of this book's created.
Throughout the country, there is a rising panic of fear of a civil war, and many believe that this book might be the tipping point. For the country is begging to change its structure as a whole and splitting up. Not only are they splitting up North and South, but also abolitionists and supporters of slavery. This book is becoming the main reason that the country is starting to divide.
Yes, that's right. And we want to figure out how the rest of the country feels about this controversial act.
A mass murderer and a guerrilla fighter is finally being punished after terrorizing the South. John Brown is standing on a scaffold after being in charge of raids on Harper's Ferry and allegedly killing 5 people. Robert Devine describes it as an act of terrorism. Joining us live on the scene is Graeme. Oh, thanks, Graeme. I'm standing here at the scene where a Northern hero just hours ago was standing on a scaffold. John Brown, a former conductor on the Underground Railroad, and several others allegedly executed 5 defenseless men after being taken from their homes in the spring of 1856. Robert Devine says his intent was to instill fear and panic among the pro-slavery forces. In the next 2 years, he had organized raids on Harper's Ferry. John wanted to seize guns and distribute them to fugitive slaves and start a rebellion on slaveholders. However, his plan ended when the local militia trapped Brown and his followers. Even though Brown was captured, the influence he had on the North is still alive and ongoing. The South is now in fear of more uprisings of Northerns and slaves. The South thinks that their way of life is being threatened, and it is only a matter of time until another rebellion is started. Thank you. A Missouri slave is suing for his freedom because he lived a long time in an area where slavery was prohibited due to the Missouri Compromise. Live at the scene with the results is Declan.
Thanks, Graeme. After a long wait, Chief Justice Robert B. Taney declared that the majority ruled against Scott. Robert Devine explains that Taney argued that no African American, slave or free, could be a citizen of the United States. Scott wasn't entitled to slavery because Congress doesn't have the power to prohibit slavery there. With the decision, the Missouri Compromise was declared unconstitutional. The design was seen as part of the slave power conspiracy. The North is scared that slavery will spread to more states because Congress does not have the power to prohibit slavery.
Thank you for watching ABC 7 News. Have a great day.
Oh, your book's right in the screen anyways.
Congress subsequently enacted the Fugitive Slave Act of 1793. Congress subsequently enacted the Fugitive Slave Act of 1793 to specify. Congress subsequently enacted the Fugitive Slave Act of 1793 to specify procedures. Live in the studios, we have Graeme Miles and Sedrick McDonald.
Live in the studios with your hosts, Graeme and Sedrick.
Hello, and welcome to 7 o'clock news. We are going to kick things off with the book.
Julia, you can't laugh because then you make everyone else laugh. You laugh, Declan laughed, and then I laughed, and then Sedrick laughed. You are starting off with
Just go! Yo, I see you recording.
I love history.
Oh, God, that's